Hello class 9 students, today I am going to start a new chapter with you all, which is the sub-chapter. Obviously there are 5 sub-chapters under the chapter number 3, which is physiological processes of life. We have already done till transpiration, and let's continue with the next sub-chapter, which is 3.1.4, movement of water, minerals, food and gases. Okay, so now in this chapter we are going to talk in details about the movement of all these type of substances within cells. Okay, so let's start the chapter from the introduction part. Go to the fourth line. Okay, fourth line, there will find transport of substances over short distances takes place through diffusion. We will, I hope you know what diffusion is, but we will also talk in details about diffusion, cytoplasmic streaming and active transport. We will talk and discuss about all of these in details later on. And transport over long distances takes place through vascular system, that is xylem and phloem, is known as translocation. So there are two types of transport. One is the long distance transport, and the other one is the short distance transport. Okay, so long distance and short distance transport, they are saying that what type of movements are involved in this type of the movements which is a long distance one and which is a short distance one. Okay, next move on to the second, the next line. Transport is unidirectional in case of water. So think of plants take up water from the soil for their metabolic activities. Like most important one is the photosynthesis. They need water for photosynthesis, but just think that the movement of water from the soil to the leaves, to the green leaves where photosynthesis takes place, that is only unidirectional. Okay, that means water is only moving in one direction. But in case of organic solutes and minerals, the movement, the type of movement is multidirectional. That means it is taken from the soil with means via the water column, that is which is the xylem, and then it moves to different parts of the plant body. It can go upward, downward, right, left, anywhere. So that type of movement of the organic solutes and the minerals is known as multidirectional movement, but only water movement in plants is unidirectional. Okay, so multidirectional, unidirectional, long distance, short distance, I hope these things are clear to you all. Next, moving on to the types of transport, here our actual chapter starts. Okay, so we are going to talk about the different types of transport. Number 1 is passive transport. Okay, and number 2 is active transport. We are going to talk about active transport later on. Now there are two types of passive transport: diffusion and osmosis. Now let's talk about each one in details. Okay, starting with passive transport. Passive transport means the spontaneous atomic movement from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration through movement. So this is the general definition of passive transport. We are not talking about diffusion and osmosis right now. We are only talking about passive transport. So how is it defined? It is defined as the spontaneous movement of atoms, or the spontaneous atomic movement from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. So suppose there is a strong smell of perfume at one corner of a big room. Okay, someone has sprayed perfume, has used perfume at one corner, and so that particular corner has that strong sense, or means higher smell of perfume in that corner than in the opposite diagonal opposite corner of that room or the outside of the room. But that is only for that few seconds. Slowly the smell will diffuse throughout the room, and the strong smell will subside. It will become a very light smell, and with more time the smell will not be there. That is because the smell, the atoms of the perfume, molecules of the perfume, they have traveled from that area of higher concentration, that means where it has been sprayed, from that corner of the room where it has higher concentration to the opposite corner of the room where it has lower concentration, and thus it has attained equality and This is passive transport. Okay, I just give you a example from our daily life, that we get, suppose something is being cooked and we get the smell right in the kitchen or places surrounding the kitchen, but in the other floor, in some other floor, we will not get that smell as fast as we get it in the kitchen. It will take some time. The molecules of that particular smell will need time to move out to other places, to the two different upper or lower floors, to for other peoples to get that smell there. So this is another example that I gave you to explain how passively means it is a spontaneous movement. No energy, external energy is being spent, no external energy is spent for this to happen. Okay, it is happening on its own. So molecules will move from their higher concentration area to their lower concentration area, and generally it happens through a membrane. Okay, now we are coming to what is diffusion. The tendency of molecules or ions to move from the region of its higher concentration to the region of lower concentration is known as diffusion. So diffusion is exactly what I defined passive transport as, minus the membrane part. Here no membrane is used, just the transfer of the molecules from their higher concentration region to their lower concentration region. Okay, so the diffusion definition you will read from the book. Next, come to the last line of that page. Diffusion takes place between molecules. So between which types of molecules does diffusion take place? It takes place between two gases, two liquids, liquids and gases, solid and liquid, solid and gas. Okay, so just now I gave you the example of perfume. Perfume is basically aerosols, right, and that it is traveling through air. That means liquid and gas. So that one is an example of liquid and gas. So all the others have their own examples of their own. I have already discussed that in the online class. Okay, next, moving on to page number 67, you will find the definition of diffusion pressure there. What is diffusion pressure? The pressure that is exerted by the diffusing molecules is called diffusion pressure. So the molecules that are performing the process of diffusion, the pressure that they are exerting, they are every moving molecule will exert an pressure, right? So the diffusing molecules exert a pressure, and that pressure is known as diffusion pressure. Clear? Diffusion pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of diffusing molecules. The more the number of diffusing molecules, the higher the diffusion pressure. Okay, thus greater the concentration of diffusing molecules, greater is their diffusion pressure, and vice versa. So if there is less number of diffusing molecules, the pressure of diffusion, that means the diffusion pressure, will be low. Diffusion occurs due to the differences in high and low diffusion pressure. Means in the place where there is higher concentration, there is high diffusion pressure, but in the other corner where there is low diffusing molecules, there is low diffusion pressure. Okay, I hope diffusion is clear to you all. I have already discussed these things in online class. So this video means you can just go through it to just revise whatever I have discussed in class. Okay, so coming to the role of diffusion in living body. Now you have to mark which points you will learn. Go to point number 2 first. You can omit point number 1, it is not at all important. Intake of different gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen from atmosphere, and movement of gases in intercellular spaces takes place by this process. Okay, loss of molecules like CO2 or O2, water vapor from the plant body during respiration, photosynthesis, transpiration respectively takes place by the process of diffusion. So I have already discussed this previously, that the way that the plants absorb these gases or performs gaseous exchange with the atmosphere, surrounding atmosphere, this is absolutely via diffusion. Okay, point number 3, loss of molecules. No, point number 3 I have already discussed. Point number 4, translocation of organic and inorganic substances and reserve food materials from their storage organ to different parts of the living body takes place by diffusion. So previously while explaining photosynthesis, I have told you that plants produce glucose, as a result of photosynthesis, and whatever amount of glucose they don't need, they store that glucose and they use it for later, means they keep it for later usage. So those things they need to, means whenever it is needed, they go to the other parts of the plant body by the process of diffusion. So these point you will read. In animals, exchange of O2 and CO2 during respiration takes place through diffusion. Different kinds of simple nutritive substances enter into the cell through diffusion. Enzymes, hormones, other secretory substances come out of the cell through diffusion. So out of all these, you can skip point number 1 and point number 8, but other points they are very easy, very basic, and from our from whatever you have already learnt, they are just saying that all these things happen by the process of diffusion. You know that these things happen, but now you get to know that these things happen by the process of diffusion. Okay, so you can learn any 4 points from point number 2 to point number 7, and I hope till diffusion it is clear to you all. In the next video I will start discussing about osmosis. Okay, thank you.